distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, please rise and join me in giving a very warm welcome to His Excellency, President of the Republic of Rwanda, as he makes his way into the room. Thank you, Your Excellency. You're very welcome. Thank you all. Please be seated. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Rwanda, the Regional Director of the World Bank, Mr. Franz Dries Gross, Secretary General of the African Civil Aviation Commission of the AU, Tefera Mekonnen, Head of Office, DFID Rwanda, Ms. Sarah Metcalf, all the heads of the civil aviation authorities that are gathered here, representatives of the International Civil Aviation Organization, country delegations, senior government officials, regulators, innovators, investors, students who are gathered here today, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the first ever African Drone Forum. A very warm welcome to all of you who have traveled to Kigali to be here with us today. My name is Louise Kanyonga, and it is my honor to be your co-master of ceremonies this morning, together with...
My name is George Mulamula.
Thank you. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, this African Drone Forum comes at a very opportune time as African governments across the continent are deliberating how to leverage technological innovations to leapfrog growth into the fourth industrial revolution. We all know that digital technologies and innovations will shape future global economies. However, these are evolving at a very rapid pace, and this time Africa cannot afford to play catch-up. The great news is that Africa has resoundingly shown that we're able to embrace a true spirit of innovation and that we've harnessed digital technologies to become a very innovative and dynamic player in the global economy. And there is perhaps no greater symbol of this than the mobile phone revolution. So Your Excellency, today in this same vein and over the next 3 days, and even in the panel discussion that we just had, we're going to be having some very important conversations on how we can harness drone technologies to positively disrupt infrastructure in Africa. But we will not just be talking over these next 3 days. This forum features some very exciting practical activities that will center these conversations. And George has the honor of talking about some of these very cool things that will be happening.
Right. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I think the ADF is broken up into two major components. One is the symposium, which we're here, and the other one was the practicals, which started yesterday with the Lake Kivu challenge. There we saw the drones fly. We saw how security and safety is taken into account before a drone flies, and then how it moves, and we discussed the issues of UTMS, how you can unify the management of drone with aerospace for our civil aviation air traffic controllers. So to kickstart it off, can we please have the video that gives a summary of what transpired and gives the background to the ADF also? Thank you very much. Your Excellency, in addition to the Lake Kivu Challenge and the symposium, we have got the Business Challenge, where people are competing with good ideas that can help solve social issues in the country. And then we have a few startups that are also coming up with innovative ideas, but they're just starting. And then we have the expo, which is around the building here at KCC, which we hope you'll have time to go visit. Without further ado, may I please invite the Honorable Minister for Infrastructure and Transport, Honorable Clever Katete, to say a few words. Welcome, please, Honorable Minister.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Honorable Ministers present, World Bank Regional Director in charge of Transport and ICT for Global Practice, Civil Aviation Authority representatives, industry leaders of unmanned aircraft emerging technologies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, we are honored by your presence at this Africa Drone Forum taking place for the first time on the African continent. I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome all the delegates who have come from various countries to attend this important event. This three-day event brings together over 800 delegates from a wide section of the aviation industry, including policymakers, civil aviation authorities, and the business community. Participants include 392 delegates from the international and regional aviation bodies in over 30 countries, and 200 students pursuing science subjects selected from our universities, high schools, and vocational training schools. Your Excellency, the forum provides an environment for technology demonstrations and discussions of how to create an enabling regulatory and policy ecosystem to unleash the social and economic benefits of drone technology while maintaining public safety. The program has a series of topics which include the fourth industrial revolution in Africa, unlocking lower skies, future of food deliveries in Africa, and drones for agriculture, just mentioned but a few. We also have the drone flying competitions, the Lake Kivu Challenge, which will be hosted in Karongi and is designed to test and improve ways in which drones can solve social challenges. Your Excellency, drone technology has significantly improved the lives of Rwandans in various ways. We have registered positive results with no reported safety and security issues over the 3-year period. Forums such as this one should help scale up solutions so that the entire continent can benefit. It is important to note that there is still a lot of work to streamline and harmonize drone industry regulations. These systems are based on cutting-edge developments in aerospace technologies and artificial intelligence and offer new and improved civil and commercial applications as well as safety and efficiency in the aviation industry. We believe that new technologies of drones, robotics, and digital fabrication hold huge prospects for economic development and match the needs of emerging African market opportunities. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today the African Drone Forum kicks off with potential to evolve into a regular forum, which showcases advances in automated systems that can make a significant difference for the people of our continent, particularly those living in remote communities. As I conclude, allow me, Your Excellency, to thank the World Bank, the FID, the Korean government, and other development partners for supporting this conference. I also wish to extend similar appreciation to the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, for the continuous efforts to coordinate activities towards safe integration of unmanned aircraft systems. On this note, allow me to thank you once again and wish you a happy stay in Rwanda. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for your remarks that critically highlighted what we need to do to fully optimize the social and economic benefits of the drone industry. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite the Regional Director of the World Bank, Mr. Franz Dries Gross, to also deliver his remarks and also invite our guest of honor. Please join me in welcoming him as he makes his way. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise. Your Excellency, President Paul Kagame of the Republic of Rwanda, Honorable Claver Gatete, Minister of Infrastructure, Honorable Paula Ingabire, Minister of Information Technologies and Innovation, representatives from the African Union, the World Economic Forum, the World Food Programme, ICAO, the East African Civil Aviation and Security Oversight Agency, UNICEF, representatives from African civil aviation authorities, many school children, welcome to this, and all of you valued speakers and participants from Africa and around the world. It is a huge honor for me to be present here today for this first-of-a-kind forum in Africa. And I'd like to commend our hosts, the Republic of Rwanda, for their leadership and vision for bringing us together around such an exciting and forward-looking agenda. I also want to thank the organizing agencies, development partners, academia, and industry that have pulled together to make this happen. I know we have representatives here from about 44 countries, from both public and private sectors. And it's great to see such a mix of aviation regulators as well as industry innovators, and a fantastic also to see 200 young science engineering ambassadors. So why is the World Bank here supporting this first African Drone Forum? For starters, Africa is on the rise, with growing economies and young populations. Profound demographic shifts will shape the next decade. Cities in Africa are growing very fast, and by 2035, about half of Africans will live in urban areas. For many countries, the labor force is also doubling, with millions of young people seeking jobs. A key challenge in this demographic transition is to ensure that growth is really broadly shared and that rural areas where the majority of Africa's poor still live aren't left behind. Forecasts we have in the World Bank suggest that without significant shifts in policy, extreme poverty will still be in the double digits in sub-Saharan Africa by 2030, even as it dips to the low single digits elsewhere in the world. 82% of people living in extreme poverty in Africa still live in rural areas. So what we all seek together, is a future that brings opportunities to the young and to those rural areas. I'd like to commend the African Union, which took a decision in 2018 to urge member states to harness emerging technologies, and especially drone technologies, for humanitarian and agricultural development. We also need to think of the effects of climate change over the next decade. We already see its impacts in Africa. Just over the past couple of months, widespread flooding in East Africa due to unusually heavy rains. Last year, the effects of Cyclone Idai in southern Africa. Climate change is exacerbating these trends and affecting the poor the hardest. Thankfully, mobility is a major opportunity for unlocking Africa's rural opportunities. Right now, only 34% of Africans, rural Africans, live within 2 kilometers of a paved road or an all-weather road, compared to 90% in East Asia. The consequence is that those hard-to-reach African communities face higher costs for goods, long waiting times for deliveries, and therefore lower productivities in rural facilities and fewer opportunities for rural citizens. Fortunately, new technologies are transforming transportation as we speak. Improvements in electrification, autonomy, and new business models for ride-sharing are driving disruption in transport markets and opening new opportunities for the future. Electric motors and propulsion systems are today cheaper to run and operate than petrol engines. For cars, they're 10 times cheaper to run than diesel and petrol, and they have 3 to 5 times the expected lifespans. Over the coming decade, autonomous technologies also mean that vehicles will become even cheaper to operate and safer. Still, electric cars are more expensive to buy today, but the cost of batteries for electricity storage has been dropping at 16% per year over the past decade, and the trend is actually accelerating. Today, lithium-ion technologies are storing energy at about $150 per kilowatt hour. In 2014, just 6 years ago, there were only 3 large factories in the world for lithium-ion batteries. Today, there are 96 megafactories producing such batteries around the world, and that's what's driving costs down. Models predict that electric vehicles will be cheaper to buy than petrol cars as early as next year. Now, when we switch to aircraft, it's not just the cost per kilowatt hour of energy stored, but the weight of the batteries. And here, improvements are happening also. Energy density in batteries is improving at about 5 to 8% per year. So lower cost unmanned aircraft are much cheaper to operate and simpler to maintain, and they open up possibilities to set delivery routes for smaller airfields, hard to reach communities, and to operate in more hazardous areas and conditions than are suitable for manned systems. The use of drones for humanitarian aid is already happening in Malawi and Sierra Leone, which countries have established humanitarian drone testing corridors, and the World Food Programme is trialing systems in Africa. These systems can also benefit from lower capital requirements. Drone ports are expected to cost about as much as a petrol station compared to much more expensive airports. The opportunity for all of us is to rethink the infrastructure needs for these new kinds of supply trains, bringing greater reach and resilience. Now, how do we unlock the lower skies to accelerate these new opportunities? From our view in the World Bank, the real opportunity is e-commerce and the digital economy in Africa. The rapid adoption of mobile phones and mobile finance across the continent is both an inspiration and a foundation for growth. A majority of African adults already have a cell phone. In some countries, the adoption rates are 80 to 90%. The GSMA estimates that by 2025, there will be 1 billion SIM cards in Africa and over 620 million unique subscriptions across the continent. The digital network is already contributing 3.5 million jobs in Africa, and the digital economy is already about 8% of Africa's overall economy. In the World Bank, we expect that by 2023, about 9% of Africa's economy will be digital. So this massive network of connected people and businesses is where the real opportunity is. Data services are connecting farmers and entrepreneurs to new markets and services, and mobile finance is enabling more efficient and inclusive access to capital. So just bear with me and imagine how the lives of those rural farmers we began at the beginning to talk about, how those lives for rural farmers can change if they can use their cell phone to order drone services. Drones that digitize their farms and use the data to register land titles, to improve their farming practices, to send crop samples via drones for testing, or receive pesticides via drone delivery, or spare parts for their water pumps. Or fishermen who can access mobile money more easily and don't need to travel to town to cash out, because agents can use drones to move funds across isolated areas where they're most needed. Imagine how village life could change if the local mechanic became a digital blacksmith who can order parts on demand without spending the time and costs of traveling to the city. Drones can accelerate Africa's digital economy. Survey and mapping drones can drive digitization of rural agriculture and land assets and help governments manage rural infrastructure. Cargo and supply drones can serve businesses and communities that are digitally online but physically isolated with lower cost, faster, and safer on-demand services. From medicine to spare parts, seeds to insecticides, documents, and cash on demand, drones can boost the digital economy opportunities that are already emerging all around us. The global drone industry is here in Africa now because Africa is where the exciting work is. In Rwanda, as we heard just now in the introductory video, autonomous flights already outnumber manned flights and provide us with significant opportunities to learn about airspace management and rethink how we unlock the lower skies as a resource for development. It's also in Africa where the technologies necessary for beyond visual line of sight autonomous flights are being tested and proven. In Zanzibar, the World Bank supported the government to carry out the world's largest drone survey of over 2,500 flights. This helped to accelerate rural land demarcation and modernize town plans and building registration. It also delivered more detailed data for a tenth of the cost of traditional surveys. It also created a legacy of some of the most experienced drone pilots in the world, many of which are now working all across Africa. The project also seeded the Tanzania Flying Labs, one of Africa's first business incubators for drone companies. And I'm happy to see that the Flying Labs are here today and still going strong. So how should Africa prepare for this exciting future? We need to ensure equitable opportunities for the next generation in these new economies. It's therefore essential to invest in human capital, the skills, and access for a new generation. I'm very excited to see here in 2020 the launch of the African Drone and Data Academy in Malawi that aims to develop skills in drone operations and drone applications and services. The World Bank is also pleased to collaborate with the UK in supporting the first African drone business competition, bringing 10 finalists here to Rwanda to present their visions. Let me also at this juncture just very briefly acknowledge the very generous support that's been made available by the Kingdom of Denmark, the EU, the Republic of Korea, and GFDRR, without whom this week's events would not have been possible. Success, and I'd like to close with these thoughts, isn't only about bringing in new technologies. It's crucial to have the right policies, institutions, and enabling environment. The countries in Africa that will reap the best rewards from these new opportunities will need governments that are prepared, forward-looking, and bold. I think it's essential and telling that we have such strong representation here today from regulatory bodies. We have 25 African country regulators, as well as regional and global organizations with us this week. And it's so crucial to have global drone innovators mixing with local entrepreneurs, with youth, and others. Let's ensure that the lessons from the African continent are shared amongst ourselves and with the world this week. Let's hear what Africa's priorities and future opportunities are. And let's work together between regulators and industries to make the skies safe and inclusive for growth. Let's make sure that we use this first African Drone Forum to build a common vision and understanding of the future we all want. Let me thank again the government of Rwanda and His Excellency, President Paul Kagame, for starting us off on this very exciting journey. Thank you very much. I now have the honor to welcome His Excellency Paul Kagame to share his opening remarks.
Please be seated. A good morning to you all. Honorable Ministers, Mr. Franz Dries Gross, World Bank Regional Director, Mr. Tefera Makonnen, Secretary General of the African Civil Aviation Commission, and heads of civil aviation agencies, representatives of regional and international organizations, and members of the diplomatic corps. Business leaders, entrepreneurs, and innovators, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to join you for the first ever African Drone Forum. A warm welcome to Rwanda, to all those who have come from near and far. We are greatly honored to be your hosts, and I wish to thank the World Bank and other supporters for partnering with us to organize this inaugural forum. I understand that some of you visited Karongi yesterday for the start of the Lake Kivu Challenge flying competition, which will continue there later this week. This tournament has a great practical value because competitors get to demonstrate what is possible on the ground. Rwanda is committed to fostering innovation and entrepreneurship as a key pillar for transforming our country and our continent, both socially and economically. We are already seeing some of the benefits, not to mention the even bigger potential that lies ahead. The use of drones to deliver life-saving blood products and vaccines to remote health centers is already a reality in our country here in Rwanda through our partnership with Zipline. A Rwandan company, Cheris US, is using drone technology for crop monitoring and mapping to support the productivity of our farmers. Another application already in use is the inspection of power transmission lines from the air to help make our electricity grid more reliable. There's also a pilot project to test the effectiveness of drones for mosquito spraying. There is so much that can be done with this technology. The African Drone Forum, therefore, comes at the right time. Let me offer a few thoughts on the importance of this work for our continent. First, the policies and regulation that we put in place should promote innovation and not slow it down. Our experience in this sector has been that the priorities of safety, security, and innovation cannot be effectively catered for within the regulatory framework. Second, continued investment in physical infrastructure and human capital should go hand in hand with the adoption of drone technology. Why limit ourselves to just using drones? We can also design and manufacture drones in Africa, as demonstrated by examples at this forum. This allows the technology to be tailored to our specific needs and to help create new industries that generate employment and prosperity. Finally, cross-border cooperation is essential. The flying competitions taking place in Karongi illustrate how much there is to gain by fostering regional cooperation in this sector. I trust that the 5th East African Community Aviation Symposium, taking place later this month, will bring us closer to regional harmonization in terms of policy and regulation. The African Drone Forum is about turning challenges into opportunities. This can-do mindset should inspire and guide us more broadly in all that we are trying to achieve for our continent and the world as a whole. Let's challenge ourselves to ensure that the outcomes of this gathering are practical and meaningful for the people of our continent. I wish you fruitful deliberations and also wish the best of luck to all the teams competing in the flying competition. Thank you all for visiting Rwanda, and thank you for your very kind attention.
Your Excellency, murakoze cyane. Asante sana. Your speech motivates us, Your Excellency, to do more, to use the drones for social good. The importance that you have mentioned of drones, particularly to promote innovation with enabling regulations and safety, the importance to tailor the industry to the needs of our continent, and your support for cross-border and harmonized regional regulations gives us food for thought on what we should be doing in the next phases. And these are things that the ADF is going to be deliberating on for the next 2 days, and hopefully we'll come up with something that shows the path forward and what we need to do next. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your kind remarks.
With that, we have come to the close of this opening ceremony, but we will now have an official photo, and protocol will guide you, Your Excellency, as well as all of those who are part of the photo. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in showing our warm appreciation to His Excellency as he takes his leave. Thank you. If I could please ask everyone else to please remain in the room. We will be taking a short few minutes break in the room. And immediately transition to the next part of our program, and George will brief us on this. Thank you.
All right.